Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be covering laggis, what people love on this channel. They're simple, basic, and they can get you a lot of attention, most importantly. Now we're going to cover specifically the tea bowl. This is a bowl that, to be honest, I wish I was a lot stronger at. But while I continue to improve on this bowl, I just want you all to be aware that you should definitely be working on this. So before I get more down that road, there's a link in the description to a community I've created on the platform Skool. Now, this is a place for people that really want to invest in their playing. They want to move forward. Maybe they're stalled out or they just have never had professional training before. This is a great place for that. You'll be accountable. And one of the main benefits I've seen now that we have many students is that in these videos, I give different bits and pieces, but with private sessions, I can give you an exact order of what you should practice when. I can really, look at your hands, and not just me. We have an entire team. So if that sounds good, click in the description and join the community on Skool. So we're going to talk briefly about practicing tabla because today we're covering Yashwant. And for those of you that don't know him, he plays insanely fast. And not only in just one occasion, all around the world. I've seen him play and he's like a bulldozer. Anywhere, he just gets started and he just mows everything right down. So the way that he does that, and not only that, I've heard, this may not be completely accurate, that he practices like about 3 hours a day. Now this sounds very low, for someone of his standard. I'm sure there was a time where he practiced much more than that, but 3 hours a day, the way that he's able to do that, and I believe this is between 3 to 6 a.m. Now this could be wrong, this is what I've heard. Now the way he's able to do that is he really pushes his hand just to its limit, probably in each and every practice, as much as you really can with the muscles recovering and everything to the limit. And this is a really great concept that I've been slowly adopting in my own playing. So what this basically means is when you sit down to practice, you train it, you don't train it, but you assume you're about to do an athletic event. It's not really that, slow practice, although Peshkar and Vilambit Tintal, those practices are essential as well. But today we're just talking about laggis. So if you really want to push your hand, make it, just think like you're about to do an athletic performance, stretch, have some water next to you, maybe use a timer as well. I've recommended Lara Box to everyone. The speed can go up, automatically. And really push your hand. And you'll have to really know intuitively, or you can take lessons from us. We'll kind of guide you on this. But really push your hand, and in about 20 minutes, you can take any laggi. Take it slow, medium, and fast. And if you haven't seen this, I've discussed this in previous videos. And really, you can push your hand to the max it can go. And at the end, you should be tired. Take a bit of a breather. Don't just go to the next thing. So this is kind of the athletic way I think that Yashwant trains. And I don't think you can really get to what he's doing with just a slow practice, gradually increasing the tempo. That may be possible. It'll take a long time. But I really think you just have to push yourself. You got to get out of your comfort zone. So if that's any takeaway from this video, to play like the way he does every practice, just get out of your comfort zone. So now we're going to look at the laggi, or the main bowl we're covering in this video, which is Dati Gene. So I'm going to kind of demonstrate that, and we're going to discuss that just a little bit. So let's take a look at how that bowl is. So I know it's a very simple bowl, Dati Gene, but I wanted to put it on screen so you don't confuse it with Dati Gena. That's important to practice as well, but that ne is what I want to bring to your attention. So that goes like this. So not Dati Gena. So this is what you don't want to do. Instead, Dati Gene. This right here. So this, the ti and the ne, these are really important to have to be able to play loudly. So now what I've found about this, and I've only really discovered this recently, is when you're playing it fast, you're so on the outside of the syahi, it barely even feels like you're touching it. You know, your finger will probably be used to playing it here, and I can even turn a little bit further. There we go. It's so out here, like. Now, I don't recommend this for beginners to start here. Start a little bit here. Make sure you get that sound at least. Then, and then, you know, different sounds like. You know, that all is from playing out here. You know, this sound honestly could be even more open for me. You know, so that's kind of why we practice Dati Gene. And you'll notice even the Dene I was playing, all this and this. So these have to be really strong. So if you're just starting out, just play Dati Gene. And slowly raise the speed. So this is fundamental to any of the laggis that we're gonna work on today. So definitely spend some time working on that. When I was younger, one of my favorite laggis was Dati Gene, Dene, Dati Gene, Dene, Dati Gene. I've covered that so many times in this channel. And I remember I went to my teacher's house and I told him I give up on this laggi. Everything else, you know, or maybe I called it a rela. Everything else was, you know, mostly coming out fine. I could see it. Dere dere was fine. It was this laggi, you know, that I was so focused on the dhene. And he said, your hand looks like you've practiced more Dati Gena than Dati Gena, not Dati Gene. So just play, you know, things with that in it more. And over time, that advice really helped. Then as I realized you have to bring your hand back, these laggis then really came to life. So let's now take a look at a kind of more simple laggi with Dati Gene in it. Now, I will say these are all in 6-beat that we're covering today. So let's take a look at that. Dati Gene tik dhine nati kenne, nati kenne tik dhine nati kenne, Dati Gene tik dhine nati kenne, nati kenne tik dhine nati kenne. So I read that twice just to make sure it was clear it's in 6-beat. So like this. Like this. A bit faster. Listen to how I'm getting this open sound. This is one of I consider this a very important sound for this. In the beginning I was playing it, I wasn't really getting it right. Listen one more time. So what I played there fast, honestly, that was okay. The clarity, you know, the weight really still needs to come for these particular luggies. I kind of shy away from them because, I never find them to just be impactful enough, especially when I'm playing out somewhere. Let's say you're playing in kirtan somewhere. Everyone will bring their kanjira and their symbols and everything. The weight of the Dati Gene luggis, it's not there for, those occasions. Maybe on stage, if the sound is just perfect, I can pull it off. But this is something that I really need to focus on more. So let's now take a look at a few different clips of what Yashwant Vaishnav is playing, and then I'll cover something very similar. So let's take a look. So a really great luggi. He started with Dhinegine, and I'll now show you what the bowls are. So this is very similar to what he's playing. There could be some minor differences, but mostly it's like this. So it goes like this. Let me slow it down just a little bit. A bit faster. Even faster. So that's kind of how this goes. I really think once you get command over this bowl, all of these luggis, if it's tatigene, dhene, dhinegene, these are all very, since it's in dadra, they're all very short. You get command really over all of them. So if anyone's stressing that, I'm going to have to practice all of these separately, you can really include them all in just one practice. I'm pretty sure, as far as I understand, that the ti bowl, getting that ti and the dhene, this right there will take you far, definitely. Let's take a look at one more laggi that he plays. And he really favors these kinds of luggis. I think the reason is because these can be played really fast. Nanagene, you can take that up to a certain speed. Let's say if you played, that's a bit harder, you'd have to strain. But with these, you can play them even much faster. So let's take a look at another time. And I absolutely love this clip. It's with a sarangi player named Momin Khan. I believe that's his name. And he plays incredible. So they're both jamming out. Let's take a look at that. So what he's playing goes like this. So I really like, it's kind of interesting. This is very similar to what he's playing. Like I said for the last one, might be a slight change here or there. But I really like how the last line is repeated 3 times. There's also kind of a space between the dha and the tik. So dha, tik, dine, nati, gine, tik, dine, nati, gine, tik, dine, nati, gine, tik, dine, nati, gine, dha, tik, dine, nati, gine, tik, dine, nati, gine, tik, dine, nati, gine, tik, dine, nati, gine, dha. So there's kind of some sort of suspense built with the 3 nati, gine, tik, dine, nati, gines, And I love that little space in the beginning. So this goes like this. A little bit faster. And there you have it. Right after this, he switches to another laggi in the same clip. He brings the dhenenati, in the beginning. So basically, that's how these kind of laggis work. It's just a few bowls, all just switched around. Kind of like, you go to Taco Bell, it's just a few ingredients. The entire menu is just a few ingredients just switched in, different ways. It's the same way these laggis are. Just there's really not a lot of variation you can do. There's thick dhene, how many dhenes can you fit in? There's one that Ustad Tari Khan plays. Dati Gene, Dati Gene, Dati Gene, Dati Gene, Dati Gene, Dati Gene. So like that. So that one takes even more practice with the dhenes. So these are kind of, how they go. If you all would like, you could definitely come up with your own, variations. Tag me in the video. I'll comment. I'll give you a shout out or whatever. So just have fun with these. That's the main thing. Laggis need soul. It can't be something that, you learned off YouTube and then you're going to attempt it. You have to really, imbibe it. It can't just be something you memorized is the point. And not only that, see what the music needs. If it really needs something upbeat, maybe more thick, thick than nothing, something like that. If it needs more soul, maybe dhene. Something like, it's like just stuff like that. Just be creative. Don't be dull and boring. That's definitely what's required to play on stage. And this is a video on just various laggis that you can play in your performances. Thank you.